and 6 is entitled Opening of the Third Seal, the rider of the black horse. Verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast saying, Come and see. And I beheld, and Daryl has underscored, I heard and I beheld, and lo, the black horse. And he that sat upon him had a pair of balances in his hand. Let's see if I can make out what Daryl has written here. Peace. No, I don't know what it is. Tears, maybe. You can make out what he has written. But anyway, measure. He has it pointing toward the measure in this next verse. But let me continue reading. And he has underscored, I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, A measure of wheat for a penny. Pound? No. Quart. Maybe a quart? Yeah, quart. It's a quart. And 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not and Daryl has this underscored, oil and the wine. Revelation chapter 6, verse 5 and 6. The Negius of Sardis translation is, and when he had opened the third seal, Daryl has underscored, I heard the third living creature saying, Go, and I saw, and behold, a black horse, and the one that sat on him having balances or scales in his hand, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 living creatures saying, a konix or quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 konix quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not hurt the oil and the wine. Now, a denarius is a coin about the size of a silver dollar. It's copper, and it's probably equivalent to a dollar, but it's worth about $100 today, $150. I had one in my store. Offered the lady $50. That's probably worth $250. In pretty good condition. But anyway, the idea is the day's wages, depending on how much you make a day. John again said, I heard. And so Daryl has that underscored, and I saw, and he just wanted to make sure that we know that. The color of Daryl has this underscored, black horse, indicates mourning. See Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 28, Malachi chapter 3 and verse 14. Mournfully in black. And and Daryl has this underscored, also speaks of famine. In Lamentations chapter 4, verse 8 and 9, we read, their visage is blackened when that blacker than coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones, and it is withered. It is come like a stick. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the Spirit. And Daryl has this underscored. The black horse represents the worldwide famine that is come to the earth. Always after a war, there is a shortage of foodstuffs. The Greek historian Herodotus says that a konix, and Daryl has this underscored, a quart of corn was a soldier's daily supply of food. And he continues underscoring here, a denarius was a day's wages. See Matthew chapter 20 and verse 2. Therefore, a working man will be able to support his family, will be unable to support his family in that day. The oil and the wine are luxuries that are enjoyed by the rich. Daryl has this underscored. Oil would correspond to our toiletries, the beauty aids and the body conditioners that we use today, that is, the luxuries of life. Daryl continues underscoring. The wine corresponds to the liquor that will be in abundance. Isn't it interesting that, and Daryl underscores this, there will not be enough foodstuffs, not uh, enough barley for food, but there will be enough barley for liquor. In other words, they're going to keep you doped up. They'll give you all the free medication. They'll keep you on your pharmacais that keep you not asking questions and lucid, and so that you won't be angry and stand up to them and stop what they're doing. They will make it in that day, and this is underscored. The rich are the ones who will get it. Let me be very frank. During World War II, the rich, for the most part, were able to get meat. They were able to get the luxuries of life. A very wealthy man told me that he never missed getting a big T-bone steak anytime he wanted it. But I can remember getting very tired of eating tongue, which was one thing we didn't have to have blue chips to get, and was something that was not rationed. In this day, that is coming. Things will change. I guess that's why everybody liked tongue and pig's feet back then, because they got used to eating it during World War II. That was all that they were allowed to eat. The rich are going to get theirs, but the poor won't be able to get theirs. This is the way it has always been. I feel like saying ho hum when I hear these sincere egg headed boys talking about how they are going to work out the poverty problem. Well, it's going to work out whenever that they bring in whenever he brings in communism, and everything goes to him and his elites, and you get nothing. All that it has accomplished is that it has given a good job to a lot of them, but so far it hasn't filtered down and been a blessing to the poor. It has never helped the poor to lift themselves up with any degree of pride. Why? Because the only man who can lift up the poor is Jesus Christ. None of these egghead boys is able to do it. I am sorry to have to say that, but somebody needs to speak out against all of this tomfoolery that our government is going through. All that this wasteful spending of monies does is to create more bureaucracy and to sap our tax dollars. This is a sort of thing that is abroad today. But just think what it is going to be like in the future day. Daryl has this underscored. This which we are talking about in Revelations is future. The only reason that I make application to today is to show that this is not unreasonable. It is going to take place. Way back in 1798, the Reverend Thomas Milthus coined that the power of population is infinitely greater than the power of the earth to produce substance for man. This prediction had little weight in his day. In 1959, the United Nations 77 Nations Food and Agriculture Organization met in Rome to talk about the fight against hunger and malnutrition. At this meeting, Tumby declared sooner or later, food production will reach its limit, and then, if population is still increasing, famine will be the execution that was done in the past by famine, pestilence, and war combined. Sir John Boyd at one time the Director General of the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, warned, "I shall finish my office by giving the last warning to the world. If it is not solved, there will be world chaos in the next 50 years. The nations of the world are insane." Someone has reported there are today 750 million people getting hungrier in countries bordering the communist sphere. This thing is growing, my friend. Famine is always follows war. And so, one of the things he's wrong about is that as population increases, the food sources decrease. Uh, Technology, people were born with intellect that was able to create things like uh, uh, corn harvesters and multi sowers, and they now all the guy does is the guy sits there and it uses GPS and it plants the corn and it harvests the corn and all that kind of stuff. It got to the point, during the 70s, they tried to tell farmers what to produce, and that was not useful. But after they dropped that, there was a gluttony of surplus, and you see where that the government was giving away cheese and these products because of their price support systems that they were given to them during the 80s, and now soybeans and corn, we have abundance of it. That's why the Chinese and Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland so they can intentionally stop the growing of food substances to cause a worldwide famine. Yes, they want to depopulate the earth so that the elites can take all of the food, and that's what that you're going to see here. Is that through communism and through war and famine? The famine is and pestilence that's brought out. We're going to cover that here in a minute. Pestilence, like them releasing pharmaceuticae on us. We are not. They will try to reduce the population to a manageable uh, uh, existence and be their servants. The Antichrist and the elites. You will be hungry and be a slave if you think that if you're for communism. So there you go.